Meeting's called to order. Has everyone had a chance to look over the agenda?
Mhm.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve
I
the
make a
agenda?
motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Second?
Yep.
Any questions? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, public comment. So we have, one person that is, and they want to address agenda number 8, correct? Okay. When that item comes up, we'll give you an opportunity. All right, thank you. All right, number 5, consent agenda items. Anyone have any concerns? Want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
A second, thank you. Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay. Planning and zoning recommendations. Chelsea, you wanna discuss this?
We had 2 people fill out variance requests. The first one is for Drosty, and they took a shed out, are moving a shed back in, but it falls within their side variance. So they requested a variance to side to be able to bring that larger shed in to sit where the previous one was sitting. The Planning and Zoning Committee has pushed that through with their approval.
We should move on this, how do you pronounce her name? Drosy?
Drosty.
Drosy, okay.
And we could probably approve them, no, let's do them separately.
Yeah, let's do them separately. Somebody wanna make?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
And I'll
Okay.
second that.
Okay. Any more discussion? Not hearing any, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, the second one, please.
Okay, second one's from Rick Richard. They are looking to reconstruct the driveway with possibly, he doesn't know for sure yet, adding on a garage to the side, which would also be then too close to their side variance to the adjacent property next to them. Planning and zoning has recommended with that approval.
I'll make a motion to approve that one.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead. No. Jamie seconds.
Sure, yeah.
Any more discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. 2027 police contract. Can you come forward, Cody?
Yep.
Mr. Meadows?
Hello.
Hello.
Cody Meadows.
So on the, excuse me, on the new contract, is there an increase?
I believe so.
There's roughly a $4,000 increase.
Which is a percentage of 1%.
Yeah, roughly. I did include both the 2026 and the new 2027 contract with your packets if you did want to
Yeah.
see the difference in them. But yeah, it's roughly a $4,000 increase. The same amount of hours, which Washburn is way over their hours anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very fortunate to have our law enforcement center here in Washburn, and
Yes.
that gives us a little bit more coverage. So
Yes.
we appreciate your time and effort and what you do, so. Any more discussion before we go into is there anything you want to bring up, Mr. Meadows?
No, I don't. I was just here if you guys had questions. I would do my
Okay.
best to answer them.
That's pretty self-explanatory, so.
Yeah, it is. I'll make a motion to approve the 2027 police contract.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Not hearing any. Brandon,
Yes.
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 and yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, number 8, ordinance. 181, animal poultry. Would you like to come up and visit with us, please? Tell us your concerns.
Well, I talked to Erica through email a little bit and she confirmed the numbers, so just to clarify, the numbers are still following the county, just with the permit. Is that,
Yep,
so
so
you can
you,
have 8 unlicensed permit up to,
up to 49.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, so then, my next concern is the ducks, why can we not have ducks?
It's for noise ordinance, I
Yep.
believe.
And there was 2 ordinances presented to you guys that would allow ducks, if that's what you so choose.
Well, if we're gonna have chickens, I don't see why you can have ducks.
Yep, so that that updated one, that for you guys to look at, it allows 8 hen chickens, 8 ducks, up to 4 turkeys. So
And where is that? Cause I didn't see that in our packet.
it's in there. It's after the first ordinance.
Which are you talking about one here?
Yep.
I don't see any of that on here.
I sent both ordinances when I sent everything out. But here is a copy.
I guess while you look at that, my concern was like, not just for myself, but there's several other people in town that we help too. I got really sick a couple years and ended up losing 150 pounds. And ever since, I can't tolerate chicken eggs, but duck eggs are fine. And if we already have birds, I don't quite see what the difference in having a couple ducks in there.
Duck eggs
Is-
stay longer, correct?
Yeah.
Like they
But
handle
it's-
better?
Yeah, and they also have a much higher protein content too.
Yeah.
But then along with the ducks was the turkeys. We've, for the last 11 years, raised 2 turkeys every year to butcher, like many other people.
Mhm.
So I was kind of surprised to see that on there, because if I can watch 3 dozen walk through my yard 5 times a day, I don't understand why I can't have 2 behind a enclosure.
And I think the other change she made in there, was with the
Up to 4 turkeys?
definition, I think with the chicken coop, they have to at least have a fence. They don't have to have a chicken coop per se, but they have to at least be fenced, so that they're just not running around. I think the definition was changed in that one too, of being contained with what
So
that one
they're
was
not-
based off the new one
Ours
too.
don't free
Yeah,
ride
so
out.
they're-
You guys have
Yeah.
heard, but I
They're
have
not
like a
free
coyote coming
range.
to my
So-
deck every other day, so
I get,
mine don't free range.
Yeah.
But
that was the other, I think, difference that was made in that one, along with the ducks, the turkeys, and then the containment of not necessarily having to have that chicken coop, but at least a fence, so they're not free roaming.
So I just wanted to understand that, because for me, ducks are vital. You can't get duck eggs hardly anywhere around here. I could buy them for $17 a dozen at Natural Grocers in Bismarck, but
Sure. Mr. Lazier, you mentioned something about approving ducks. Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ducks, turkeys, whatever.
Should that be part of the up to 8? I mean, how would,
Well, how they have the ordinance written, you can have 2 turkeys and, or what, right?
Yeah, is it 2 turkeys and 4 ducks?
4 ducks?
This one said
8 chickens?
8 ducks and 4 turkeys.
Okay, so I was
Okay.
8, 8, and 4
8, 8, and 4.
okay.
without a permit?
without a permit.
So,
Okay.
So with the permit, how does that?
You just,
Because
the way our ordinance states, prior that we're kind of bringing into, you can't have a feedlot. So 50 is considered a feedlot. You can have up to 49.
So out of the 49 though, if you had 10 ducks and.
So as
So-
long as you don't go over 49 combined or of each species?
Each species
Okay.
would be my interpretation. So I guess if I read that wrong. But
Oh, I was just clarifying.
Okay. I'm gonna second Brandon's motion.
I mean, I don't think we have any noise ordinance at all with any of these. We have more problems with dogs barking than ducks, turkeys, and
Well, that's what I was
everything
wondering.
else.
Yeah,
with the
that was
roosters.
something that was
Yeah.
confusing me about this rooster situation. We got dogs that bark all night long. It's just like,
Yeah.
but.
But yeah.
So we'll go into discussion. So, is there any more discussion?
Well, and I think it's important to mention it, cause I don't think anybody really knows, but the license is $20 a year, which is once a year, of course, it's an annual thing. But
Per
I would've
household, right?
things, yeah, I think so it's not like, I don't think it'll be too bad, you know. I like that.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Jamie, you have anything discussion wise? If not, we'll move into a vote.
Right. Was there anything that prompted this, ordinance to be brought up, or, I mean, was there complaints, or?
We got rooster complaints. And then we have an old one. Like I said, that's like from 1908 when we were discussing it last meeting. And then to bring it to in compliance with our whole ordinance code thing that we're doing, and not instead of just passing it through so that the public was informed of it, of putting a limit on those chickens, or at least getting rid of the roosters. But yes, that is now my new one that I've heard is the dogs barking. So.
And we do have a pet ordinance, so. I
We
mean,
do.
That does address a lot
Well,
of that.
you know, if you have better luck enforcing it, let me know.
Well, that's not my job, that would be police department probably.
Like,
Just saying. Not that we're giving more to do, but,
But we
So-
are giving you more.
yeah, I know. But no, it's been there, I think, cause that was put in place 2024, right, Chelsea? That was,
Our animal ordinance?
yeah, the end.
Oh, that's been in place for a while.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because that limits the amount of
At
dogs
least
you
the
can
one I
have
was
and
reading on,
cats.
yeah.
And on the noise ordinance for dogs, the best remedy is to call law enforcement and then they will do it.
They can address the issue.
All right, excuse me, any more discussion?
I
If
guess
not-
I
oh,
wanna
I'm sorry.
I wanna provide some clarification with the old ordinance, which was from 1908, where it was more so dealing with times where people were having cows, like everything, all within city limits, and to keep the peace was quite, I think, a challenge at that time. Thankfully, we have a little bit of different time that we live in. I don't know. But that's where the rooster issue would have been falling under, because it's not necessarily on our side, I would think. It's more of a noise thing to keep that under control, so. Yeah. But I don't know how loud they get.
I think the turkeys are loud and the 4,000 geese that park on the sandbar are loud.
Mm,
Everything else that comes to the yard is loud, so I don't,
yeah.
neither here nor there.
I think it's just city limits though, that's probably the major
Yep.
thing.
Which that we understand, so.
Any more discussion on Brandon's motion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes.
And then my last thing there was the meat birds. What was the situation with the meat birds?
From the
Because
last,
the
from the last
original
meeting, you
ordinance
guys were
that I
talking
read through was a little confusing, and I know on the meeting there was talk about butchering and culling and this and that, whatever else. Like, what is the clarification there?
From what I understand, we were planning on taking the prohibiting of slaughtering out so that you could raise them for their meats.
Okay.
That was what I understood.
Was that what your question
Yeah,
was?
because you guys were discussing it last meeting.
I think we just
Yeah.
wanna
So
get
it was
slaughter
to
out of it.
So if you,
remove it.
yeah, like if
Okay.
you were ready to kill your bird and eat it or do whatever, like you have that
Freedom
jurisdiction.
to do
Yeah,
that. Because
Because the
before,
previous one had slaughtering in there where then it was prohibited.
it was
Now,
prohibited.
That wording was
I thought I
taken
understood
out.
that as somebody was having an issue with the ability to butcher your chickens, and I thought that was goofy. Again, we go and fish and we
Yeah.
our fish and
No, we
hang a
were
deer upside down.
trying to
fish
make
off
it
and whatever, so,
Yeah,
You could have that.
okay.
Yeah.
Does the number of meat birds you have now, like, cause you know meat birds you don't keep around for very long, so let's just say that you have your 49 all year, all around, but you only want 10 meat birds a year, does that 10 count as part of your 49, or how does that go?
Yeah, so-
Okay,
Cause then over that is where you become a,
At one time.
Okay.
okay, well, that's all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
yeah.
thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Do you wanna do the first reading of this ordinance, or do you wanna wait until July?
What would you like to do? I'm open for.
I'll read it if you want me to, I don't mind. I don't know if that makes a difference, or I think it's you. I think you
Go
have to
ahead.
read it.
No, I don't.
No, okay. Oh, here, okay. So ordinance number 181, an ordinance related to control of animals and poultry. Be it ordained by the City Commission of the City of Washburn, State of North Dakota. Section 1, the following definitions shall apply unless the content clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. A, chicken means a female chicken or hen. B, at large means off the premises or not under the custody and control of the owner. C, chicken coop means a structure of housing chickens made of wood or other similar materials that provides shelter from the elements. D, chicken run means an enclosed outside yard for keeping chickens. And E, premises means an residential dwelling parcel for real property. And F, person means the resident property owner, custodian, or keeper of any chicken. And then section 2, keeping of certain animals prohibited. It is unlawful to keep any horses, sheep, goats, swine, cattle, roosters, guinea hens, or similar livestock or fowl within the city limits of Washburn, except as follows. 1, up to 8 hen chickens will be allowed without a license. 2, up to 8 ducks will be allowed without a license. And 3, up to 4 turkeys will be allowed. 4, applicants shall pay an annual fee. 5, breeding of chickens, ducks, and turkeys on premises is prohibited. And 6, all premises on which chickens, ducks, turkeys are kept or maintained shall be an enclosed fence and be kept clean from filth, garbage, or any substances which attract rodents, and the coop and its surrounding areas shall be cleaned to control odors so as not to be detectable on another property. 7, all grain or food stores on premises shall be kept in a rodent-proof container. And 8, all applicants shall notify the owner of the property if the applicant is not the owner. And 9, a complaint against any person owning, keeping, or harboring chickens may be filed with the City of Washburn if it is revealed that the use of the chickens, ducks, and turkeys is in a violation of any section or of any section of this ordinance. The commission shall have the authority to require the owner or the user of the property to fix, abate, or alleviate the problem, and if the problem is not satisfactorily abated or alleviated, the city shall have the authority to revoke the license or issue a fine. And section 3, confinement. Every person who owns, controls, keeps, or harbors hens, chickens, ducks, and turkeys must always keep them confined and may not allow the chickens, ducks, turkeys to run at large. Chickens must be secured in a chicken coop from sunset to sunrise each day. Section 4, animal neglect, abuse, or cruelty. It shall be an offense for any person to abuse any animal through an act, omission, or neglect which causes or inflicts unnecessary pain, injury, or death to any animal, whether such animal belongs to such person or another, except that reasonable force taking into account the size and demeanor of the animal may be employed to drive away vicious or trespassing animals. It shall be unlawful for any person in charge of any animal to fail to provide any such animal with food, potable water, shade, or shelter, or to expose any animal to hot, stormy, cold, or inclement weather for an extended period, or to carry any such animal in or upon any vehicle in a cruel or inhumane manner. Section 5, running at large. It shall be unlawful for the owner to keep or keeper of any animal to run at large in the city at any time. Section 6, vicious animals. No person or person in the city shall be the owner of or keeper of any dangerous, vicious, or unruly animal shall not suffer the same to run at large. And section 7, licensing fee. Before any license shall be issued, the applicant shall pay a license fee of $20 for each household to be paid yearly. And no refund shall be made on the license for any reasons, including the death of the animal or any other, or the owner leaving the city before expiration of the license period. And section 8, violations and penalties. Any person who violates the provisions of this ordinance or fails to comply with any of the requirements shall be notified by letter of violation and shall have 1 week from the date of the notice to comply. If the violation is not corrected within that time, the person upon conviction shall be punished by a fine of $200 a day. Section 9, effective date. This ordinance shall be enforced and effect from and after its final passage and approval and the publication of its title and penalty clause. And it says Mark Loam and Chelsea.
All right. Thank you for the reading. Nowhere in there did it state rabbits.
Correct. We did not.
We need a motion to approve this, Chelsea.
Yes, we have to accept the first reading.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the first reading.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. Is there anything else you need from that, Chelsea?
Nope, not for
All right.
today.
Thank you. Okay, number 9, resolution setting auditor's bond.
Okay, so every year we just have to read the resolution setting the auditor's bond. Whereas the city of Washburn is covered by a blanket bond by the North Dakota State Bond Fund, and whereas the North Dakota State Bonding Fund provides fidelity bond coverage for city employees and public officials in dealing with public funds, and whereas the bond is fixed by the city governing body and set by resolution as outlined in North Dakota Century Code 4013-02, and whereas at the June 8th regular city commission meeting for the Washburn City Commission, the current bond limits were reviewed and found to be sufficient. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Washburn, North Dakota, that the auditor bond coverage by the state bonding fund in the amount of $2 million has been reviewed and found sufficient.
Somebody want to make a motion to,
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to number 10, resignations. We have Keith Happett, one of our city commissioners, and Ben Frederick, who's a city employee. I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of Keith Happett.
I'll second that.
Discussion? I just would like to say I'd like to thank Keith for his effort and his time spent on the city commission. Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, the second one is Ben Frederick. Good employee, I wish he was staying, but he's moved on to another job. Adam, anything you wanna say, since he was one of your employees?
Nope, it was just good to have him. I
Yeah.
guess he started with us summer help several years and
Yeah.
continued to full time. And he's working somewhere closer to home.
Right, yeah, he'll be this. All right, I'll make a motion to accept, Ben's, resignation.
I'll second that.
All right. Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, number 11, hiring. We're looking for a janitor and summer help.
Yes, so I don't know if we wanna put an ad in the paper for summer help. I have somebody interested in coming back to work for the city to take over the janitor position. So I guess I would like to have the liberty to go through that process and do that. That way we can get somebody in here right away and not have that time lapse. We're not really looking to refill Ben's position completely. Possibly maybe if somebody was interested, getting in some summer help to help with mowing and that, to be determined, I guess, going forward than that.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to get somebody else to help with mowing.
Correct. Just to state, Ben was doing janitorial as well, right? As
That
part
is
of his-
correct, yes,
As part of his job, so
Yep.
we need to fill that position.
we do.
I will make a motion to give the auditor the authority to fill the janitor position.
I'll second that.
Is there any more discussion?
Um,
Does it need to be both you and Adam, or is it because this falls underneath? That was my question.
Yeah. we,
She can
You weren't
handle it, but
thinking
yeah.
we both kind of
Okay.
discussed it. I was looking at just bringing her back to start at $20 an hour,
Okay.
if that would be acceptable.
And who's that again, or who's?
Katrina Winterberg.
I'll make a amendment to my motion to have a wage of $20 per hour. Can I get a second on that amendment?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment?
Probably try to do some as soon as possible too. Everybody till July, that's kind of.
So I have a quick question about the actual summer help. Does it need to be published in the paper?
That one I would put an ad in the paper.
We don't
I-
have anybody in mind, so yeah, it would have to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna get that to the paper to get an ad out there to see what we can do. If we don't have any interest in the next week or two, we're not probably gonna find anybody for the summer, but I would, wanna get that out there. We'll put it on Facebook,
Okay.
everywhere else that we can.
Didn't know if there was a time frame for that, so.
All right, so we have an amendment to vote on. Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. And now for the original motion is to give the city auditor the authority to reach out and fill the janitorial position. We have a first and a second. Is there any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, on to summer help. Adam, do you have any recommendations?
Not really, no. Whoever we can get, really, they'd just be mowing.
They will have to follow certain
Oh yeah, they,
physical standards and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I mean, same thing all the rest of us, or they have to be 18 also.
Yeah.
If there's anything else, really. Same hours, I guess.
You wanna make a motion to advertise it?
I'll make a motion that we submit that for getting it rolling in the paper.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then state the wages, the criteria of the job.
Yep, and we'll probably advertise that at $20 an hour too.
I'll second that motion. Oh, which papers would we,
Those I usually put in the Leader News, the Extra, and then I put it online.
that sounds good. All right, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, number 12, new tractor mower. Adam?
Oh. Yeah, so
Number 12.
if you've seen our big tractor that we use to mow on the highway, it's pretty old. The tractor itself still mostly runs. However, the mower deck is in really bad shape. We got that mower deck from state surplus 20 years ago, so it was used at the time. We've used all our spare parts on it, and ordering parts it's really tough to get them. So at this point, if there's another big issue, I don't know if we're going to be able to repair it or not. So at least we need to look for at least another mower deck. And I know there was talk several years ago about getting a tractor. I don't know where that ended up really. Yeah.
I'd have to look back and see if it was
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the problem is pairing a newer mower with an older tractor. It's not so much of an issue if you're using a PTO. But if you wanted to use like a new hydraulic deck, probably wouldn't work. Yeah, so it just kind of depends what direction we want to go and if we want to make a purchase like that this year or wait. For now, what we're using is working for this year so far. It worked for the first one, anyway. So hopefully it'll make it through the rest of the year, but we should start looking anyway.
Okay, what size and how much are you talking approximately?
Well, I'd like to keep it with 2 wings if possible for the mower deck. As far as size of the I don't know. I don't know what's even
So
out there.
what's the deck width that you have now? Is it 12 or 14?
I'd probably say 12. Yeah, I'd have to measure it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to keep the same width. I guess let's just say that.
Typically, your new ones are gonna be 10 or 15.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't like to go smaller. It does take a lot of time the way it is. So going smaller is just going to add the amount of time we have to deal with that. So.
I'll make a motion that we give Adam the authority to start looking. And do you have any idea what kind of price range you're looking at?
No, I have not even looked into it yet.
So, sounds like we can possibly get by this year, but
Hopefully, yeah.
we should definitely be on the lookout
Yep.
for improvement, so.
I'll reach out to all the people in the area and start getting numbers in. So it'll be we're starting early, so it should be, we'll have time. We'll do our due diligence and stuff. So.
Would you look both new and in surplus and see what's in the surplus?
I know there's nothing in surplus at the moment. I don't know if they're doing something different with their mower decks these days. I haven't seen a mower deck at surplus in a long time. So I don't know if they're like leasing them or selling them back or something. I don't know. I could ask though. I know the guy who works down there.
Are you thinking 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive or?
For the tractor?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are discussions we could probably talk about later because the whole idea about getting a different tractor before was that we could increase its usage, put a big snowblower on it, stuff like that. So, I mean, we'd have to consider, what we want to use it for.
Yeah, with that, just the mower, it'd probably be around 100 horsepower, maybe a little less, and then if you went to a snow blower,
Yeah.
probably 175 horsepower.
Yeah, I don't know.
200.
Yeah, I'll get all that info when I start talking to people. So
maybe get quotes on like 2-wheel drive and.
yeah, I'll get a range of options so we know we can look at all of the different sizes and stuff.
I mean, cause then like you buy the snow blower and then the maintenance, I don't know, I think Chris would look kind of pretty cheap to just have him keep doing the snow blowing and then.
Yeah, but we don't have him snowblow. Well, so it hasn't been a problem the past 3 years or whatever it's been. But there was that one year, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we could have used somebody to snowblow all around town because the curbs were that bad, and our tiny snowblower just wasn't equipped for that. So is the need there? I don't know. Would it be nice? Yes. But we haven't seen a winter like that in about 5 years. So, but that's not to say that they're not going to happen again. So, yeah.
Well, I think it falls under your job to
Yeah.
look for this equipment. We don't need a motion for that until we find something.
Right, and then we'll compare prices, and if it's the upsell is small enough to where we could potentially use a snowblower, then why not, right?
Sure. All right, thank you for your, and then
So we have that motion on the table?
we don't have a
Oh, we don't have, okay,
motion.
We
Yeah, I-
did actually have a motion.
that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yes,
So
you
we need to
motioned to
move-
give Adam authority to start looking,
Yeah, okay,
so we can just let it die for a lack of second.
so. Is there a second? Is there a second? Okay, dies on lack of second. All right, so, yeah, go ahead and do your due diligence on that. Any more discussion with, anybody have any more questions before we move on to the next topic? No? Okay, number 13, task order 23, Riverside Park. Eric,
Hello.
A2S.
Yep, I got the task order to Chelsea and she should
Yep.
have that in your packet. I have 2 copies over there for you, Mark.
Okay.
We talked about, last meeting, going forward with the Riverside Park Road improvements, so we can make sure we spend the, grant dollars that the city has, awarded to them through the ARPA funds and, through the, DOT Special Road Fund grant, that we got. So that task order is for design, bidding, construction work, services for it. And there's, in the front page, it describes kind of like what the scope of work's gonna be. It's about 350 or 400 foot long area on Riverside Park Road. It has the slope sliding. So the goal is to stabilize the slope, between the road and the river. Add some curbing and some drainage improvements, and then pull out the piece of the road that's kind of crumbled away and get that repaved. We got survey out there earlier this week. Yeah, actually it was last week. I think they're out here starting to gather that data. So we would start design here this week with commission's approval and pass it to the task order.
Sounds good. We need a motion on this.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll make a motion to move forward on task order 23.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes.
So the goal, timeline would be mid to late July for completion of the design drawings. And then we would like to bid this late July, beginning of August, and start construction in August, September timeframe. If we can get going on construction end of July, beginning of August, I'm fairly confident we can get everything done. But I do have it on the schedule to get substantial completion done this year. And if we have to wrap up final completion in the spring to do that. I talked to Joe Snewstead at DOT, and he said that those funds, if we have a project going, he said into 2027 is fine.
Oh,
Now
perfect.
the ARPA funding, that's another deal, but we'll clarify with Abby on that if there's any way that we can utilize those funds into 2027, but the DOT stuff we're okay on.
We probably look at the Prairie Dog funding for this. Cause
Oh, okay.
a lot of our ARPA funding was spent,
Okay.
on the PRV project.
Okay,
And there might be like $4,000 that was left over for that, so a lot of
Okay.
that extra additional funding is, the Prairie Dog funding is what we specified for this.
okay, yeah, my mistake on that.
Nope, that's okay.
And is that good just till the end of this year then? Do you
I
when
don't
that-
know that there's a timeline on that one.
Okay, I'll have to look into that, cause my mind was on the ARPA
Yeah.
funds, so that's what I looked into since the last meeting, so I'll check on that too.
Okay.
So. Okay, ready for that, and then I had 2 copies there, Mark, if you could,
Yep.
I'll get one of those before I leave from you. You already got it, okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 14, A2S update.
Okay, again, the report you guys have, in your packets, I got a sheet there too for street and drainage improvements project. Public hearing we had here this last month, and then had feedback, various feedback, I guess, but, I guess in summary, there was, quite a few written protests against both the street and drainage improvements. Although there was a good amount of feedback from the public that they do want the street improvements. So that's, we got that feedback from them. long story short, what we're gonna do is we'll continue forward with the design of the project as planned, but we'll delay the bidding, and construction until next year. I think late winter, early spring, bidding, advertising and bidding, and then, awarding the project, late spring, 2027. So how does that affect things? It does have an effect on getting the work done this year, obviously, but funding wise, SRF, funding, there isn't too bad of an effect on that. They're pretty, good to work with, and flexible for the SRF funding, so I believe that won't be an issue. Resubmitting the loan application, later this year, to get that going. The BND, funding, that could be an issue. They typically they open up loan application windows, every 2 years? And we were selected for that, for this project last time. The next loan application window is not gonna be until into 2027. And I talked to Kylie at BND and she said she'll know more as we get closer, which doesn't really give a good solid answer. But if they have other funds that return back, kind of like how Washburn's was for the street and drainage improvements project, she can move her application window earlier, but I don't know how much earlier at that point. So it could be spring, it could be summer, it could be fall 2027 before we have another window on the BND funding. So the DOT Flex Fund grant, I want to make another crack at that one too. And that application window is expected in 2027. I don't have a date on that for you either. It hasn't been set yet. So we'll look at all of those options for funding. But I would also say that we should look at backup options for funding, just because the ones that we were planning on, like I said, we had to turn them back since we didn't go forward with the project. So, is there any questions on the funding piece of that? We did have our 90% design review meeting the end of May. It was after the public hearing. And then some of the updates on that is we're striking the detention pond out of there, and we're adding Progress Drive, which is that very short street on the east end of Custer Drive. And then adding the Dakota Drive intersection, which is Dakota Drive is the frontage road by Captain's Cabin. Adding that intersection and repaving that road was added in, and then doing a sanitary sewer extension from the intersection of Dakota Drive and Heritage into the ditch to the south, I would call it, I guess. Yeah, so so that'll take a little bit of work to get that design completed on those. Also, our the not capital improvements plan, the facility plan that we did for the SRF loan will have to be reworked because now we're adding sanitary sewer into it. So before we didn't have any sanitary, so that'll be something that we have to change and update there, which is fine. We can do that. And we have time for it. So next steps on this is to keep pushing design towards 100%. We'll get the drawings and specs, facility plan updated, and the cost estimate. I know that you're looking at for that. So that'll be something that we're working on. And then eventually we'll have to look at resolutions again and probably another public input meeting of some kind. And we don't have to wait until the resolutions that we need to have the protest hearing. We can do the city can do a public input meeting anytime they want. And I know that we pointed it out at the public hearing, that, this project has been discussed at pretty much every commission meeting for a couple of years. And it's been on the city's agenda multiple times. So, and I know you've said many times, Mark, that you'd like people to bring their discussion items, public comment items to the meeting. And so we would encourage that at any time people have questions or comments or concerns. So those can be heard ahead of the time that we're right before we want to start a project. So that's something that we should look at doing. I would recommend going forward for the next time, so that we can, get the project to move forward like the city wants. So I was checking out the project area here before the meeting, and the roads, I know everyone knows, but the road's in pretty tough shape. So yeah, definitely something that needs to get done. So Is there any
But-
questions?
Yeah, for Adam, is there anything we could do up there to fill in some of those voids in the street temporarily without too much expense?
We'll throw some gravel in there.
Okay,
It's not gonna hold up well, but, it's better than nothing.
might take out some of the bumps.
For a little bit anyway, yeah.
The only good thing about it, people probably drive slow up there.
I'm sure they do
That's
drive
a
slow.
Like a
shame.
natural
I was-
speed.
I think I was going 10 or 15 miles an hour down the road and I was
Yeah, I just don't go over there.
bumping around quite a bit, so. Yeah, it's definitely in need of reconstruction.
Yeah.
So,
That was one of the concerns that was expressed from one of the residents up there, if
Yeah.
we could kind of, so it's not so bumpy, you know?
yeah. It's pretty tough to do.
I know.
It's
That's
like
why,
condition of the road.
that's why I asked politely.
They didn't want it fixed, but they want to make it not bumpy, it makes sense.
Well, we don't want anybody damaging their vehicles.
Also, I did some, just as a side note on that, because of the feedback that we received, I did the research and I read the 84-page Supreme Court case that was brought up about its Sunsky Rentals. It was an industrial part of Grand Forks, Grand Forks, city of Grand Forks. And had to do with, this was like the last year and a half, I guess it was, that it was done. Everything technically was done correct by the city. The protesting was done after the project was finished. So according to the Supreme Court, actually, there was no reason why that they technically couldn't have, what was assessed was fair, according to what the Supreme Court judge ruled. And the only reason why that the Sensky Rentals is what the business, it's a business in town, he owns several properties, commercial lots, they directly benefited from the improvements that were done. And so the reason why I bring that up is because the job of the special assessment committee is to help determine, okay, their benefit will match what they're receiving from that. And so that case, technically, the city of Grand Forks just bowed out and they let Sensky Reynolds win. But according to the Supreme Court judge case rules, his last 20 pages in that case, he said everything was done correctly by the city. And so there was not actually anything in error because there's no set formula to determine those things. So I took the extra time to look at that because I wanted to understand, like because that was a big deal in the meeting. So I wanted to make sure and address that. So if anybody wants to take the time, you can find it. It's available online. You can read it all. But it does explain in there what exactly what they're pertaining to. They're not going outside of their limits by saying, hey, this is how much we're gonna assess you if they can prove, hey, you're benefiting directly with your businesses and things like that. So
Yeah, and another thing to point out too, and I know there was a lot of discussion on property value, and I mean, if you had identical houses and one on a perfect pristine street and another one on the street that's like up there right now, you can't tell me that one of those properties doesn't have a higher value because it has a nice street to drive down and the other one is you're bouncing up and out of your pickup. So you know, that's one thing that, you know, I would like everyone to take in consideration as well. And you know, the city did follow all the, you know, the city attorney looked through all the resolutions and all of those were as they should be as well. So we'll make sure they're the same way next time if we go forward with it. So
I just want to state, I think Chelsea's gonna work with the special assessment group, just to have them prepared, so when the information does come forward, they'll be able to get on task right away.
Yes, there's no reason they can't meet and then be prepared for I mean, is there any reason they couldn't come to the protest meeting, or is that maybe a bad idea? Or, you know,
No, it's an open
the special
meeting.
assessments, you mean?
yeah,
Special,
is that what I said? Yeah, that's what I meant
Yep.
to say.
Yep.
So,
But there won't be any numbers or anything provided to them because we won't have anything yet, but just, they'll know the scope of the project and they'll have a chance to start looking at
It's like a rough draft.
the primary and the secondary and how that's gonna be dealt with.
Any other
That's all I
questions
got.
on that one?
Nope.
Okay, we talked about Riverside Park Road improvements already. Heritage Heights development, also submitted in your packet was the map for finishing the Heritage Heights development. There's 10 lots that are up there.
Those are all separate, so if you close out of this one, you'll see the four, they were sent, after I was gone on Friday, so I added them in there today, and you can find the 4 ones.
Yeah, essentially it's this map right here, and it's Sibley Way to Morris and Sully, I believe, will be the name of the road, as it continues up through there. And DeMorris connects into Woodgate, eventually, so you got 4 blocks of street. You got 2 blocks of sewer, and you got 3 blocks of water main, and you got 10 services, water and sewer services for those 10 empty lots that are up there. This is again something that the city's been looking at for a long time. Alls I did was I looked at I updated our costs that we had from before. It was about 2 years ago, a little under 2 years ago, summer of 2024, when we last looked at doing this. So I updated those costs, and you're gonna see a price for the sewer improvements. It's less than the water by quite a bit because there's only 2 blocks of sewer, whereas we have 3 blocks of water main. And then of course, streets are gonna be our most expensive part, and we have 4 blocks of street. So, that's where you have the numbers from, and, I guess, I was asked to update those, and if there's any questions, you guys can let me know. I know that there was renewed interest to finish that.
I do have one question real quick about this, because does Demore come all the way down here then and touch Custard? Is that correct?
Yeah, it would. So there's, right now, it's just a 2-track trail
Yes.
between the end of Woodgate and where, Sully Drive would come up.
Right.
So it would
Because
be,
forks there and it comes down.
yeah, you'd have to have 2 blocks of street in there, new street.
Right.
And then if you were gonna connect Sibley to DeMorris, you have to finish Sully Drive there, up
Okay.
there. And then I know that, talking about development, this area up here,
Yep.
just right up there between Custer, where Custer wraps around. Inside of that wraparound essentially is an area that the city was looking at, potentially having a new development. So that, you got these 10 lots that are here right now, and then this would set the city up to develop, more to the north there if they wanted to,
Okay.
inside of Custer.
So my question, just because I live like right here, so I walk down here a lot. So this part here where it forks onto Sully Drive,
Okay.
the water naturally, like with the fire that we had up this way, the water that came down from there, I could see where it was actually draining straight across, and it follows past Custer Drive and then comes down to Woodgate Drive. So is there any proper storm drains that could capture some of these to help direct, like along this direction? Because that's where it all comes down. And I'm just wondering if there's an actual, because I didn't see any storm drains all along here, just the curvage that the water was following. So I'm just curious if there's a way we could figure something there?
So Custer Drive, in the design of the project that we wanted to do this year, we had new storm sewer that would be installed on Custer Drive there. There would be 2 sets of inlets that would most certainly help that situation. We know from past experience and from our hydraulic modeling that we did for this project, we have there's that inlet that's in the field there.
Right.
If that inlet is inundated or plugged or
Right.
whatever, water always will flow across. The guy has the big backyard there. It'll flow through and across there and onto Custer Drive.
Okay.
So if there was development up this way, we would have to figure out a drainage plan for that. Yeah,
Okay.
to address that. And as part of the project too, the plan was to stub out storm sewer off the end of Woodgate to the east here.
Gotcha.
So that's something that we could look at connecting in. Otherwise, that a drainage plan would have to be done. And the numbers that I presented to you guys, there's on the street improvements, sheet, I'd state on there, it does not include, a storm sewer plan, for that. So a drainage, storm sewer and drainage, if there was an added storm sewer and drainage on this project, that would be something that would be in addition to what the costs are that you're looking at.
Okay.
We know that we wanna address the stuff on the street and drainage improvements project on for Custer, but if this new development was done, we would wanna look at that as well.
Right, to help
So-
alleviate at least
Yeah.
at that time. Because if we could do it all at that time.
Yeah.
it would be better.
So, yeah, it's 960 plus 438 plus 260.
Yeah, so like 1.66 million for that, yeah. 4 blocks of street, 3 blocks of water main, 2 blocks of sewer.
And then if it actually addresses
Yeah.
technically that part, that where it drains down. Okay.
So, and I mean, you can see the numbers, the unit prices and the quantities, and that's what the math works out to. It's a lot, but, I don't know any other way to skin the cat for you on that one to make it, you wanna have asphalt streets, right, and curb and gutter and
Yeah, that, if you divide it back by 10, what's that, about 166,000 a lot, roughly?
Yep, that's how much it would be if you divide it by 10.
If we-
Now the way that we've done it in the past is we would do direct benefit for the water service and the sewer service, and then the streets would be something that could be split up like we've done in the past too. So, and this is a new development, so I don't know what the precedent was last time, cause the last time a new development was done, it was in the early 2000s up in the same area. So, I don't know the history on that, I'd have to go back and look, but you could at least say that 50% of the cost would be citywide on the streets. I think it'd be safe to assume that, but again, that would be something that the city and the special assessment committee would have to talk about.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only other thing I got is the lead and copper rule. So the facility plan is nearly ready to be submitted to the state for the 66% loan forgiveness money, and that's something that we plan to apply for the city for lead service line replacements, and eventually doing some potholing on unknown service lines. Because again, I know I've talked about this a lot, and it's kind of a more of a boring subject, but the lead and copper rules, we have LCRR, lead and copper rule revisions, and LCRI, it's lead and copper rule improvements. Those are new regulations or updated regulations to the lead and copper rule. And one of the things that the state and the EPA are requiring is every public water system has to have an inventory of their service lines so that we can identify what materials they are. And if it's lead, it has to be replaced. There's a 10-year window starting in 2027 till 2037 to replace all lead service lines. The city does have some. They also have a lot of unknowns left. So if the trick to the unknowns is, that's not a good trick, it's a bad thing. If we don't know what it is, it's still classified as an unknown in 2027, then the state assumes it's lead. So now you have to look at replacing it. So it's better to find out earlier than later. So that's what that, the gist is on that item there. That's all I have for you guys unless you have questions for me.
Nope, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna move on to number 15, portfolios. Brandon, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Jamie?
Nope, I don't.
I do.
Okay.
With the library. So, I had spent some time talking with Candy, particularly about the water issue in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had a couple quick questions, cause I took some time with her, we walked outside, looked out there. There's like, it looks like to me that there's like 4 of the gutters that come straight down in between the 2 buildings. So I don't know if we wanna take a look at that, we were talking about doing that. But they come straight down, point directly at the basement of the library.
Oh, we talked about, I don't know, Adam had.
Yeah, we have a plan for it. We're just extremely busy right now is the unfortunate part.
Like redirecting the gutter system or something.
Well, so the water that comes between the two buildings comes from Lindell's building.
Right.
And we need to get a hold of like some tubing and just capture that water and take it past, or take it out the other side. And then maybe, maybe shore up there's a few big cracks in the foundation, which we've tried to fill them in before, and it's a bigger issue than we were capable of solving, really. But patching over them here and there will stop any small amount of water from getting in there anyway. But the biggest issue is the water that comes off the roof. And if we can capture that water and send it to where it's no longer a problem, then we've solved most of the issue. Yeah, there is water that gets in the basement. We have 2 dehumidifiers running in there, so it does clear up. And it's been a long-term issue. So we just need to get some free time and.
If we
Yeah.
can.
Have we reached out to Lindell Law Office?
Yes. Oh,
To-
he said we could work on his gutters, I guess. We didn't ask him anything else, but yeah.
Just so we can put some flexible drain hose or
Yes,
something.
we talked to him about it, yeah.
If we can,
Okay.
if we can somehow get that, I think that would be cause every time it rains, it's an issue.
Now's the time of year.
Yeah, it would be a good thing to get done.
I'm sure Adam has it on his list.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough for the next month, but we'll get to it when we can.
Okay, cool. That's
All right. Do you have anything else?
not this time.
The only thing I have is this spring, we looked at somebody's property where the culvert comes under Main Avenue and is eroding his yard. I just want to bring that up for topic that the city will look to see if there's anything that we could possibly do to slow down the damage that he's getting, but
I guess it's kinda up to you guys. We can't, it's a private person's property, so we can't really work on it.
on his yard, correct.
Right.
We can maybe give him some advice and,
I mean, yeah, it's mostly an issue of flattening the area between the 2 culverts and filling it in. And I would, it's a tough issue because there's a lot of drainages that run through a lot of private property. And we've never worked on one before. I'm not opposed to like if he needs dirt, we have an abundance of dirt across the highway especially that needs to be gone at some point. I'm not opposed to, it takes some man hours, but in the end it's not that much. But as far as working on his property, I don't think we can.
right, not work
Yeah.
on his property, but try to work with him in a,
Right.
offer him some city material to
Has
help.
he done anything yet, whoever this is?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, it was too wet this spring to try to, that was when the snow was melting. And it was a good time to look at it because it was showing the issue.
So he hasn't tried anything yet?
No,
It's
there's-
been a
there's
problem
some-
that's been forming for a long time.
Yeah, there's some discussion on what to do, but I just don't want to sweep that under the rug.
Yeah, like all erosion, it's just something that's happened over time.
And since you brought up that dirt pile, what's the plan with that? Any,
Is that north
There
of
are no
town?
plans.
there was some talk about moving it, but
There's no place to put it.
can we spread it out?
Where is it at currently? North of town?
Is it for sale? I mean, could it be sold?
It can be sold. I don't know what the process for selling it is. It's not especially good dirt. It is mostly topsoil, but it's not.
There are rocks in it.
There are definitely rocks, and people have been stealing from it for years and years.
Borrowing from it.
They've been taking it and not bringing it back. But it's half the size it used to be, which is, and honestly, we don't really care because we just need it gone.
It's gonna be gone in the next 2 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's people have, they just go up there
Let
and
them
take
take
it.
it all then.
And that's why we've never stopped anybody. But we wouldn't, just to be clear, since we're being recorded, I would not, if somebody started bringing dump trucks up there, we would stop them. Yeah. We're talking pickup bed loads and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
For personal use.
Right.
So it's not something you would recommend for gardening, I would assume?
Not really, no. It's a mix of clay and topsoil. It's stuff that was graded to make the area that it is now.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want to spread it out either because the area is kind of flat already because it was kind of designed that way.
Just to be sure, so
Yeah.
people hear.
If it ever came to developing those lots, then we'd find a place for it or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just kind of there.
Okay, that's all I have
Yeah.
for my portfolio, so.
So since, just talking about that still, it's just, like you said, you don't probably wanna go into his property, but then
Yeah, I don't.
if you did anything, since what you do for him, you have to do for somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing that was brought up is the water, when it flows heavy through his yard, it takes the soil and leaves the grass. So his yard is actually shrinking, which is gonna cause more erosion. So,
Yeah, we've turned away people in the past about
yeah,
the
they,
drainages and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the water always ran that way.
yeah,
At some point, the highway department put a road there and they put a culvert where the water was already running.
Yeah.
So,
so one of the ideas, since we're on that topic, is, Adam wasn't here, Zach was here when we went down there and looked at it. And the homeowner is thinking of making more of a trench to guide it and then maybe put some rock in there. But, Zach and I both said, we might be able to help you with some material, but we can't technically go down there and do any of the work.
yeah, rock it's expensive too.
Right.
So, if anything was going to happen there, it'd have to be voted on.
Right,
I wouldn't
Yeah.
feel comfortable approving material that would go to a private person, so it would have to be approved by the board.
correct. Yeah, we would have to bring it up have to be a item on the agenda in order to. But I just wanted to discuss it just for discussion only.
Cause you wanna help that guy, but then those other guys that got told no, and they had to hire their own landscaping company, what do you do with them?
Well, this is kind of so he has a culvert on two sides of his property. And it takes flow from Senex all the way down, goes through his yard. So we wanna appease him enough to where he doesn't wanna, because the culvert actually extends into his property.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of,
So we've technically done some work on his property,
well,
near his property, near his property.
it's an item that we're gonna look into. That's all I wanna say, so. Not that we're gonna do any work or whatever, but the city still needs to try to, stay out of his property, but see what we can do to help
Well, I guess
alleviate.
you could try anything, he hasn't done anything yet, so,
Right.
anything's better than
Yeah,
nothing, so.
yeah. It was across from used to live across the street at one time. It would have been, it's Richard's property. So. Anyways. All right, we're gonna move on. Superintendent report.
Not much there. We've been pretty busy with mowing, obviously. I think we cleaned it up pretty good for Riverboat Days. The rain stayed away long enough. The only thing that's changing is that the tar machine's not getting here till Thursday now instead of tomorrow. They're out there blowing cracks now, and hopefully we don't get a lot of rain to fill those back in, but we're gonna try and get ahead that way so that we can hit the tarring pretty hard when the machine gets here.
And when that happens, which spots are they going toward again? I don't remember.
There's a big list, we'll post it online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then everybody knows, like, don't
Yeah.
park here and, okay, cool. All right.
And our grass came in though.
And the grass is
No,
there.
looks good.
This looks good. Adam, do you have enough help for the tarring?
I think so. The situation is in flux, let's say that. But I think we're okay, I think,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, map. Otherwise, that's all I've got. You're up.
Election day is tomorrow. You will vote at the Memorial Building, so if you have not
Thank you.
voted or
Thank
done
you.
a mail-in ballot, please get out and vote tomorrow. We've had a lot of questions about opening up the Memorial Building. I spoke with both Clayton and Travis today, again, given yesterday's storms, tomorrow's storms. The Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, both have keys to get into the Memorial Building. The Fire Department is always out looking at the weather, whether it's Clayton, whether it's Travis. They are in contact with emergency management. They will make the call if the hall is going to open or not, if it's deemed necessary. Between them posting online, Travis can let me know as too. We can get it posted on the city website. That is where our storm shelter is at. So be on the lookout for that. We'll try to get everybody updated that it is open if it is deemed necessary.
We always post on, we have the Washburn Fire Department Facebook page.
Yep.
Amber and I are the ones that run that. We always post on there, same as when we do the fires. And then we always post to the what's happening in Washburn page always too. So we do a little bit to try to help that too, but.
So follow Washburn Fire Department if you don't. Follow City of Washburn if you don't.
And then,
You have to state your name, just so we keep it.
oh,
Oh, Travis Verkey, Assistant Fire Chief.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
thank you.
So it's online, posted on the, what is it? What is the website?
Washburn Fire Department Facebook page and what's happening in Washburn, is that what's called, what's happening in Washburn?
What's happening in
Yeah.
Washburn?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
And then we have ours, which is the normal city website.
Yeah, I will try to post it as well, just on
And
our
then
Facebook page.
Law enforcement also has
So it's-
access to get in there too, so.
We'll
So
be
it's
in touch with
mostly-
them if anything's going
Yeah.
on anyway, so.
And if the
Yeah.
sirens go off, the memorial building will be open, correct?
So
Anything that warrants it being open, it'll be open.
There's some others.
So technically, all of that is only through Facebook, right? Is that correct? Because it's those two and then that one, that's all we have for communicating, is that right?
Typically at that hours of the night, yes,
Okay, just curious, so.
unless it's the middle of the day, but they're typically at night.
I guess at that point too, the sheriff's office would be aware that it's open, so if anybody really had a
Call
question,
there.
that would be
Okay.
a logical thing to call, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
just make sure.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Chelsea?
I think that's all I have.
Okay, next meeting is July 13th, 2026. Meeting is adjourned.